Hello Info Warriors, it's Cameron Modis here. Over the last couple of weeks you may have seen a video called Kony 2012 The Invisible Children. I know I have. It made a huge impression on me, and when I kind of sat back and looked at it, I thought there must be something dodgy. Started to look, and it appears that there was. Alex Jones just released a video in the last day here called Secrets Kony 2012 is Desperate to Hide, which is available on YouTube. Have a look at that and yeah, see what you think. So in my opinion, the Kony 2012 video is a truly beautiful video. It did exactly as it was supposed to. The globalists knew precisely which strings to pull to get an emotional response from everybody. And I can't tell you, when you watch it the first time, man, it makes you want to cry a little bit for some of us. The emotional response is now leading to war in Africa. Now you guys may have heard about problem, reaction, solution. So in this case, the problem is Kony kidnaps children. The reaction is, that is horrible. The government has to do something about it. To be honest, it is horrible, right? He's apparently kidnapped 40,000 people or children. He's used them to fight in wars. He's had them kill their parents and so forth, right? And so the American solution is obviously to invade America or to invade Africa. The American government is now passing a bill that will bring Americans to fight in Africa. There are already special forces from a number of Western countries deployed in Africa. And as an example, I live in Australia now, and apparently the Australian SAS are now in Africa doing reconnaissance. Right, but you got to sit back and ask yourself, that Kony is a bad guy, but the puppet government that's in Uganda has apparently killed millions of people, and they're getting support from the Western governments, right? So which one is worse, right? We have to remember, we have to take some responsibility here. So have you asked yourself why the Americans, on behalf of the New World Order and the global elite, might be going into Africa? Alex Jones said in Secrets Kony 2012 is Desperate to Hide, America's entering Africa is a way to counter China's rising influence on the continent. Right? So if you have a look at what China's doing right now, they've got 1 billion plus people, and they're trying to provide resources to keep their economy going. I used to live in New Zealand as well, and they're buying out the farms there to make sure that they've got a constant milk supply. What's really important to them is stability and making sure they can support their own people. So they've got a huge presence all over the world now, but especially in Africa. So just like the European powers fighting over Africa during colonization, like 120, 130 years ago, the West and China are now fighting over Africa for the same reason, Africa's rich resources. But historically, when the West intervenes in a country, many more civilians die than would have if they didn't intervene. Every country, like every person, has an unrestrained right to self-defense, right? If somebody walks in your house, you have the right to shoot them, right? However, you don't have the right to go into your neighbor's house and interfere with them if they're having a bit of a domestic argument. Okay? However, no country has a moral right to enter another country and fight a war in the name of peace. Now, what blows me away is that no one opposes these wars. If you're watching someone outside your house get murdered, would you call the police? If so, why wouldn't you try to stop the wars that our countries engage in when thousands, if not millions of people die? It is obvious that most people are either zombies or sheep who only follow the news on the mainstream horror media and don't take the time to research the issue for themselves. Canadians, Americans, Kiwis, Aussies, and Brits, we are the richest people in the world. We are moral cowards because we do not stand up to our governments or those of our allies when they get involved in unnecessary wars. I remember watching YouTube videos of the riots in Vancouver last year when the Vancouver Canucks ended up losing the Stanley Cup. Roughly 2% of the people were rioting. 1% were trying to stop the rioters, and 97% were sitting back, watching, taking videos, having a bit of a laugh. Right? They're watching because they're cowards and they will not stand up for what is right. If you don't fight the globalists, you're supporting the globalists and have to wear the blood of the victims on your hands. How many people will be murdered in the name of peace in your name? Stand tall. This is Cameron Modis, signing out.